Homeless housing back under the microscope in Burlington. Good evening, everybody. I'm Darren Perrin.
And I'm Kat Villianzoni. The Queen City has been dealing with an increase in homelessness since the beginning of the pandemic. In fact, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development says homelessness has increased 3% in the country since 2019. The total number stands at more than 582,000 people. But Burlington has taken steps to bring down the numbers here by finding housing for homeless people, and that includes the pods that we've told you about in the Old North End. The 30 pods are currently housing about 33 people, and we learned last week more than 40 are on a wait list. It shows early signs of success in getting people a temporary but stable place to stay.
However, Champlain Housing Trust, who runs the pod community, says some 60 to 70 people are unsheltered daily in Burlington. And that means there are still issues with homeless encampments around the city. Our Ike Ben David is live in downtown tonight, where a homeless encampment was cleaned up today. And Ike, this isn't the only one.
Yeah, Darren and Kat, good evening to you. Crews were here earlier at Memorial Auditorium cleaning up an encampment here. And just a few days ago, they were down the block at the old YMCA cleaning up an encampment there. Community members, they told me they were happy to see the cleanup, but people who tell me they're homeless say more needs to be done. City crews cleaning up all sorts of debris on the steps of Memorial Auditorium, from bedding, needle caps, and garbage. Crews were on the scene throwing it out.
Taking up a habitation on a city sidewalk is not going to be acceptable.
This comes just a few days after crews already picked up an encampment down the block at the old YMCA building. This is what it looked like on Friday, belongings pouring into the street. Jason Birds sent us these photos last week after he saw the encampment grow.
It's not safe to have that amount of garbage there. It was kind of getting out of hand.
The two encampments just down the road from Edmonds Elementary and Middle School on Main Street.
There were kids who were afraid to walk home, down this way, so I would walk them to the bus, and after seeing that accumulate, it made my role of walking kids to the bus more important.
On Friday, we talked with a man who said he lived in the encampment outside the old YMCA building at the corner of College and South Union. The building has broken windows and is covered with graffiti.
It does look like clutter, but where the hell am I supposed to put it? Would you want me to put it in your front yard or put it somewhere where it's abandoned?
Kevin Donaldson says he chose to live in the shadows of the empty downtown building because he felt safe and it helped keep him warm.
It's just like having a home. You know the areas where people are going to come. You're protected.
On Monday, this man who says he is homeless suggested that the former Y be turned into a warming shelter.
It's obviously a great space for the homeless. I mean, it would serve as a community center or anything along those lines.
But the building is privately owned.
Because if it was city property, we could have acted immediately. But in the case where a property owner is involved, they have to take those steps.
Bill Ward is director of permitting and inspections for Burlington. He says the former Y was slated to be a hotel, but those plans fell apart during the pandemic. In November, it was sold again.
As soon as they took ownership of the property, on that same day, they're the ones who installed that fence.
Ward's office was in contact with the property manager last week about the encampment. He says they took action, and no one is squatting in the building. As for Memorial Auditorium, Ward says city staffers go inside every day.
There is use at the property. It's not officially vacant as far as the city's ordinance is concerned.
I'm told that when police and city inspectors were at the old YMCA last week, there was one arrest on an outstanding warrant. Now, Ward added to me that the new owners of that building, they're working on a permit request to build. Now, if that goes through, you're going to see more fencing around the old YMCA building. Reporting live in Burlington, Ike Ben David, Channel 3 News.